Jermall Charlo knocks out Hugo Centeno in the second round. Charlo is the WBC mandatory challenger for Gennady Golovkin at middleweight. This was a fight for the interim WBC middleweight title. So it's one step up from being mandatory challenger because Charlo's been waiting quite a while for his crack at Triple G. And he's been very vocal about it. And after this fight, once again, he called out Triple G. He says he wants that fight. As I mentioned in previous videos about the Charlos, a lot of people don't like them because of, I guess, their arrogance and they're very brash and whatnot. Even the way they talk to the media, they're quite arrogant in the way they talk to the media and quite rude at times. And I think a lot of people take that, and because they don't like the Charlos in terms of their personalities, they allow that to cloud their judgment in terms of assessing the Charlos as fighters. Let me tell you something. The Charlo twins are for real. I'm not telling you they're going to be the greatest fighters of all time or anything like that. All I'm telling you is they are legitimate world level fighters. Both of them, Jermall and Jamel. Jermall at 160, Jamel at 154. They are for real. They're not playing about. I think Jamel beats the likes of Jarrett Hurd. I think he beats the likes of Kell Brook. I think Jermall would give Gennady Golovkin a hell of a fight. I think he would give Danny Jacobs a hell of a fight. Yeah. Jermall and Jamel, these guys are not hype jobs. Anybody who thinks they are, you're going to be sadly disappointed when you find out actually these guys can fight. They're hungry. They're vicious, both of them. Jermall has always been the more aggressive in the ring, hence why he's got a higher knockout ratio, but they can both punch. Jamel can punch too. It's just that earlier on in his career, he was a bit more circumspect and he was boxing more. Whereas Jermall was always the guy who would be more aggressive. And that's what we saw in this fight against Centeno. He was fairly circumspect in the opening round, but when he got his opportunity in the second round, he unloaded both barrels on Centeno and it was over very quickly. Yeah, he landed a clipping left hook to the chin, a right hand, another left hook. You know, the shots just went in. And the final punch, from what I remember, was kind of a right hand round the back of Centeno's ear. It wasn't an illegal punch or anything. It wasn't round the back of the head or an intentional rabbit punch. It was just behind the back of the ear in the middle of a combination. And Centeno was down and virtually out cold. He could barely lift his head up off the canvas because he was that badly concussed. So, you know, excellent finish from Jermall Charlo. Him and his brother are not perfect fighters. There's no such thing as a perfect fighter. They don't dazzle you with technical brilliance. They're both good technical fighters, competent technical fighters, but they're not going to dazzle you with technical brilliance the way a Mayweather would or the way an Andre Ward would, etc. That's not the Charlos. They're a little bit more rough around the edges than that. But what they do bring is excitement, intensity. That's the way I would describe the Charlo brothers. Is they're very intense characters. Yeah, they're very driven, very focused, and extremely hungry. These guys work very hard in the gym, and you can just tell they want it. They're out there. They haven't made the big money. This is why that confrontation between Charlo and Danny Jacobs was so tense, because Danny Jacobs is where Charlo wants to be in terms of making money. Danny Jacobs has made the kind of money Charlo has never seen in his life. You understand? And the Charlos are hungry to reach that level of boxing where they can make that kind of cash. And just in terms of wanting to be the best, you can tell these guys are students of the game. They love fighting. So, yeah. I 100% am convinced that Charlo, Jermall, and his brother Jamel are for real. This was a good performance against Hugo Centeno. He did what he was supposed to do. Not saying Centeno's an elite level fighter, he's obviously not. But when you're fighting somebody of Centeno's level, this is how you're supposed to deal with him. You're supposed to take him out in good fashion, and that's exactly what Charlo did. I hope he gets his shot at the full version of the WBC belt, because he's now the interim champion. I hope he gets his shot at the full version sooner rather than later. We know now Triple G is going to be taking on Vanes Martirosyan. We'll see what happens in that fight. Obviously, 99.9% of people are expecting Golovkin to win. As long as he wins, he's going to then try and take on Canelo, I'm guessing, in a rematch in September. If that fight happens, the winner of that surely will have to be fighting Jermall Charlo if they want to keep hold of the WBC strap. They'll surely be having to fight him next after that, which should be, if let's say Canelo wins, that will be Charlo versus Canelo in May. And if Golovkin wins, it might be earlier than May, because Golovkin don't tend to try and stick to Cinco de Mayo, the Mexican holidays and whatnot. But if he was to beat Canelo, maybe he might try, because he's obviously stuck to it this time, right? He's fighting on May 5th still. So, maybe he'll try and do it if he beats Canelo in the rematch. We'll see. But yeah, I'd like to see Jermall Charlo get his shot at the big time. He's a hungry fighter. He's worked hard. He's undefeated so far. He's been knocking people out. He's been looking impressive. So yeah, and this was another impressive highlight reel knockout for him. Let's see him take it to the next level and see if he has what it takes. All right. So those are my thoughts on Jermall Charlo's victory over Hugo Centeno and his career in general. He is a fighter who I think is on the ascendancy, and I think it would be prudent to take him seriously. I know a lot of people wish the Charlo brothers were just hype because they don't like them in terms of their personalities. But again, don't allow your dislike for a certain fighter cloud your judgment. These Charlo boys can fight. I'm telling you now. Yeah, as long as I've been following the sport of boxing, when I look at someone, I know when someone can actually fight. These boys can fight. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying they're going to be pound for pound the best or anything like that. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. All I'm telling you is it's not going to be no easy night's work for a Danny Jacobs or a Triple G or a Canelo getting in the ring with a Jermall Charlo. Nor is it going to be an easy night's work for anybody at 154 stepping in the ring with Jermall Charlo. Best believe that. All right. So anyway, yeah, let me know how you feel in the comments, people. It's happening. I'm out.